Good morning. Welcome to the capital city of Richmond on the first full week of the 2013 session of the Virginia General Assembly. Gary was doing that introduction talking about the fact that I've been doing this in the state government this is my 18th year and my 22nd year overall. And I remember when I started out in 1991, I was elected to the Board of Supervisors in Hanover County. One of my good friends at the time was Barry Duval, who was the mayor of the city of Newport News. And I leaned over to Barry and I said, we'd have both been better off if we would have just stopped then. You know, things have gotten tougher. Gotten better for you, but they've gotten tougher for me. Look, we appreciate y'all coming. I know that it's a big sacrifice to leave your businesses and come to Richmond for a day or two to meet with the members of the Senate and the House of Delegates, but it is important that you come here. I have learned over the years that every group has a presence in Richmond. I assure you, all the folks who may not believe as strongly as we believe in the importance of a pro-business environment in our state, they have a presence in Richmond. And it is important for business groups to have a presence in Richmond. And you've got a great team with Barry and his team with the Virginia Chamber. And they work all of these business issues that are before the General Assembly very hard. But there is just nothing like folks from back home coming to meet with the members of the Senate and the House of Delegates and let them know how you feel about the important issues that we're dealing with this year. So I really do appreciate you coming to be a part of the 2013 session of the General Assembly. You know, this is an interesting year for the governor and me because it is an important year. We have a number of major initiatives that the General Assembly is going to have to deal with this year. But it's also is our last year. You know, it's the last legislative session that we'll have the opportunity to work through. You know, we're working it just as hard as we ever have. But it's at a point in administration where you kind of start looking back at what you've been able to accomplish, as well as looking forward to some of the big issues that lie ahead. And Gary touched on probably the two things, I think, looking back over the last 3 years, probably the two things that I would say the governor and I are most proud of, and you'll hear him talk more about this, I'm sure, at lunch today. One is our effort to restore the financial foundation of our state, because when we took office 3 years ago, you may remember we inherited a budget shortfall of about $6 billion. I'm not suggesting that was anybody's fault. It's just the bottom had fallen out of the economy. Everybody was going through a tough time, and so was state government. And that meant that we had to make some tough decisions. You know, we rolled spending in 2010 back to where it had been in 2006. We refocused on making sure the budget was based on, you know, realistic revenue projections and trying to work out of the budgetary process some of the gimmicks that had sometimes been used to prop things up during those, you know, difficult times. And I think we've been able to turn the corner. We still got some work to do, still a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen budgetarily up in Washington, particularly as they approach part two of the so-called fiscal cliff discussions and the impact that big things like sequestration could have on Virginia. But the fact that we've been able to get the budget balance, protect our AAA bond rating, and end the last 3 fiscal years with budget surpluses as opposed to deficits is a tremendous accomplishment, and one that we're very proud of and grateful to our colleagues in the Senate and the House of Delegates, Republicans and Democrats alike, who have worked with us so hard to get that done. One of the reasons that we've been able to accomplish that is the other thing Gary mentioned. That's the emphasis we've had on economic development and job creation. That has been the top priority of this administration for the last 3 years, and it will continue to be. I have truly loved the work I've done as Virginia's Chief Jobs Creation Officer. This work in economic development was a great fit for me given my business background. I'd love to find a way to continue to be involved in this work when my career in government is over. And trust me, there are a lot of people trying to put an end to my career in government. So, you know, when it's over, you know, I'd love to find a way to stay involved in this. It's important. And I was looking at the numbers the other day. In the last 3 years, we have now topped 1,000 deals closed in our state. We're up around 1,012 economic development deals closed in the last 3 years. We've created something like 165,000 net new jobs in Virginia in the last 3 years. Our unemployment rate has gone from 7.2% to 5.6%. We have consistently been recognized as the most pro-business state in America. We are very proud of the accomplishments that we've been able to make. But that is in large part because of you. It's because of businessmen and businesswomen like you, entrepreneurs all, who are willing to step out and take risks and run businesses. And you know, you've heard me say this many times, but if there's one good thing that has come out of these tough economic times we've been through in the past few years, it may be that more people are aware today of the fact that business is not a bad thing and profit is not a four-letter word. In fact, business and profit is the engine that drives the economy. It is the rising tide that lifts all ships. And we really want to thank you for being such an important part of that effort. And then as we look forward, let me just real quickly touch on a couple of things that will be big for us this year. And I will start with transportation. Transportation is an economic development issue. We have been talking about building a transportation system for the 21st century for about 12 years now. It is time we stopped talking about building a transportation system for the 21st century and actually started building a transportation system for the 21st century. And I will tell you candidly, I think this may be our last shot in the foreseeable future at getting that done. With all due respect, I don't see a Governor Cuccinelli solving this problem. I don't see a Governor McAuliffe solving this problem. Now, Governor Bolling might be able to solve this problem. That's a different story altogether. It's a discussion for another day. But look, I really think this is our shot. You know, this is our moment in time to stop talking and get something done. The governor has put forth a comprehensive transportation plan that business groups all across the state have been incredibly supportive of, and we appreciate that. Is it a perfect plan? No. Let me tell you something. There are no perfect plans. The governor deserves a lot of credit for stepping out and putting this issue on the front burner in the last year of his administration. He deserves a lot of credit for doing something a lot of people haven't done, which is laying a comprehensive, detailed plan on the table. There are going to be a lot of plans. And my message to the members of the Senate and the House is simply this. I am prepared to support whatever can get 21 votes in the Senate and 51 votes in the House of Delegates. And I hope they are too. Because to get something done, I know this, our Republican friends in the House of Delegates are going to have to get over their opposition to new revenue. There is going to have to be new revenue in a transportation plan. And our Democratic friends and some of our Republican friends in the Senate are going to have to get over their opposition to using more of our existing revenue for transportation. There's going to have to be compromises. Everybody is going to have to come to the table, be willing to compromise. They're going to have to be willing to give a little to get a little. As my friend John Chichester used to say, everybody's going to have to be able to swallow a few toads if we're going to get something done. So, you know, my message to the members of the Senate and the House is simple. Let's figure out a way to get it done. Let's come up with some kind of a package that will address the concerns of the House and the concerns of the Senate to the greatest extent possible. Understand that nobody's going to get this done their way. The system, in a perfect world, you know, it would be done my way. This is not a perfect world. All right? And to get this done, everybody's going to have to be willing to compromise. And I'm encouraging folks as best, don't draw lines in the sand. Don't take positions you can't retreat from, because at the end of the day, we're going to have to all work together to put together a package that can get 21 votes and 51 votes. This is our moment. This is the time, and we can't let this opportunity get away. And I hope that we will keep our focus on that. And if we do, when we're done with this session, we may be able to look back and say that we actually were able to do something we've been unable to do for the last 12 years, and that's actually get something done. And that's what my focus is going to be on. And let me just close. I want to touch just a minute on, I hope you've heard about our All Students Initiative. I'm sure the governor will talk about this at lunch as well. It is our effort this year to begin the process of reforming K through 12 education in Virginia. Now, understand, I'm a big fan of public schools. I think we have a pretty good public school system in Virginia today. But public schools in America today, education for our young people in America today, is falling farther and farther behind the people we compete with around the world. And when you see numbers like the U.S. ranking 14th in the world in reading proficiency and 17th in the world in science, 25th in the world in mathematics, those should be unacceptable statistics to everybody in this room. We can do better, and we're going to have to do better if we want to compete in the global marketplace of the 21st century. And this I know. If we keep doing what we've been doing, we'll keep getting what we've been getting, and it's not good enough. We've got to be willing to think outside the box when it comes to K through 12 education, and we have put forth a plan this year, our All Students Initiative, that begins the process of doing that. And I hope as you're meeting with the members of the Senate and the House today that you will encourage them to support these key provisions of the governor's All Students plan. It in and of itself will not reform public education, but it will begin the process of reforming public education. Look, let me just close by saying this. I think we are all privileged to be able to live in Virginia. I've been a few places around the world and a lot of places around the country, and I can tell you there's no place I'd rather be than right here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. This is a great place to live and to work and to raise a family. But as we look to the future, I think we need to have this recognition. Just because Virginia is a great place today doesn't mean it will always be a great place. Its ability to remain a great place, to live and to work and to learn and to raise a family depends on us and the leadership that we're able to provide. Hopefully leadership that goes above Republicans and Democrats and liberals and conservatives, and leadership that understands that it's not about ideology and it's not about partisanship. It's about getting things done. It's about solving problems, getting things done, and creating greater opportunities for you and folks like you to grow your businesses and improve your quality of life and the quality of life of the people that work with you every day. If we keep our focus on that goal, then we will accomplish some great things, and we will make certain of that one thing that we must each make certain of, and that is that the Virginia we leave to our children and our grandchildren is even better than the Virginia we inherited from our parents and our grandparents. Let's work together and let's get that done. Thank you guys very much for being here.